There is a book called The Power of Now, and Alan told me about it and then very quickly said, honestly, dude, do not read that. That will take you right off the freaking rails.
The Power of Now can be detrimental if you take it the wrong way.
Next Level Nation, today, for episode number 2196, we're doing one of our favorite things where we kind of talk about a success principle that is widely used that is not helpful, probably.
You just said about. No, you said about weird. About.
About. Did I say it like that?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
It was different than that.
It was
different than you've ever said about before, in my opinion.
I appreciate you recognizing that.
It was like a boot.
A boot.
About.
That's my Canadian style. Can I get to the fucking episode now?
Yeah, sure.
All right. This is one of those episodes where we take something that is out there all the time. Stay in the present. Live in the present. The power of now. The power of the present is all we have. Blah, 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 blah. And I made a joke before we recorded this. I said, honestly, you don't really have to worry about the future or the past if you're like a bajillionaire right now and you're just cool with floating around in your money. I mean, you don't really have to think about anything other than nothing. You can just think about what you're doing right now. And I also realize that is none of you listening, because there's no such thing as a bajillionaire. It doesn't exist, and it won't for a while. I'm sure it will eventually. So yeah, what is your perspective on this?
Is bajillion an actual word? It won't be eventually.
It's an actual word. Is it a number? I don't know, but it's a word.
Are you sure it's not like a made up number?
I'll check on it. No, okay. What's your perspective on this?
I think that you and I were talking earlier about proactivity and how we've been more proactive in business and life lately. And for all the listeners, I'm just going to say a bunch of things that you've heard. Oh, school is starting soon. Q3 is ending. Or 2026 is coming up. The holidays are on their way. All of those sayings are basically saying, hey, something's coming in the future, and we should probably prepare for it now. Living only in the now. I heard a clip. It was saying the present is all you have, so just stay present. That is just so wildly untrue. Imagine if Kevin and I were like, hey, we want to start and grow a global business, and we want to help people be more successful and achieve their goals and dreams. And then we just stayed in the present.
Wouldn't happen.
Hey, man, how are you?
Right this second? Great.
Awesome. Same.
How are you now?
Can't talk about the future. Hey, can't talk about the future. Yeah, no, you can't talk about the future. What are you up to this weekend? Can't talk about it. What do you think we should do in the business? Can't talk about it?
I don't think that far ahead. Depends. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Oh, okay.
Depends on how I feel.
What do you think we should do right now? What do you feel like doing?
Just this.
Just this. Do you think we should talk about... What do you want to talk about in the now? Right now? No. You can't care about the listeners' futures. You can't care about your own future.
Just talk about the past?
Nope.
No. I'd probably be a lot of silence. Probably just be like us looking at each other.
I realize this is coming off probably very hard. Yeah. Condescending. It's coming off.
Let me break the ice. Bajillion is a real word. It is spelled Bajillion, and in the dictionary from Oxford Languages, an extremely large number used for emphasis. Example, I've got a bajillion things to do. It's a real word.
But it doesn't actually correlate to a real number.
Not a real number, no.
It just says large for emphasis. Okay, back to the point of the episode. Everyone out there watching or listening, just imagine for a second someone who never thinks about the past, and you're not allowed to talk about the past. You're not allowed to reminisce about the past. You're not allowed to ask how Kevin's weekend was last weekend because that's in the past. You got to stay present. And you're not allowed to talk about the future. You're not allowed to talk about your career or your goals or your dreams or your aspirations. You're not allowed to talk about the fact that I'm moving next year. You're not allowed to talk about what's your dream car. No, can't talk about it. What about your dream body? Can't talk about it. What about a movie that's coming out in 10 months? Nope, stay in the now. Don't worry about it. I'm really excited for Avatar 3. I don't give a fuck. You can't talk about Avatar 3. But where am I going to see it? I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Let me ask you a question. What, do you think... So this is my thought, because I was thinking of... A lot of things happened in high school.
For sure.
A lot of things
I can think of at least one.
happened in high school. It's a good hook. And there were some people that I believe were only thinking about the now. And I can give you two different examples of how, unfortunately, that was not good for them. I know many people that had children way too young. Not many people. I know several people that had children way too young. How did that happen, would we say? They were probably only thinking about the now. I also know people that were in very bad car accidents due to drinking. How do we think that happened? That was a very unintelligent decision based on not thinking of what the consequences are. When you think of the consequences, you're thinking of the future. You're thinking of what could go wrong. And I think that if nothing else comes from this episode, because I know we're very jokey in the beginning of this, but that I think that is something super powerful. If you've ever made a bad decision and you can go back and trace it to, well, I was only thinking about the present, I wasn't thinking about the consequences, that debunks this whole thing right here. And I also understand that people aren't saying you just have to be present all the time and you can't ever think about the future. But I think what people are trying to get to land is, I've heard this before. If you're depressed, you're thinking about the past. If you're anxious, you're thinking about the future. The only way around that is to live in the present. I don't agree with that. I know.
It's not true.
I know. I understand. I think it's just blanket statement. I said I've heard it said. I've heard that said. I don't agree with that.
I know.
As somebody who has dealt with both depression and anxiety, it ain't that simple.
No, as a matter of fact, your depression and anxiety was because you were enjoying the present too much and not concerned about your future at all, because pretty soon the future becomes the now.
I would say that was a piece of it. I think there was also other stuff. There was stuff that I didn't face from the past. It all connected. It all connects.
Yeah, you didn't face the past or your potential opportunity in the future, and so then you were depressed and sad and worried in the present. If you don't ever think about the past or the future, your present's going to be fucking terrible. Especially in the 21st century, things are moving so fucking fast.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I'll give an example. There's some people that I know that don't have any computer skills. They don't know how to use computers. And they're in some trouble in the future when it comes to the job market. If you have tremendous computer skills, you're very valuable in the market. So, brother, most of my decisions in life have come from what I think is coming in the future. Emil and I are always talking about the future. AI, all this stuff. And we're preparing now for it.
But it requires a lot of things to understand what's coming in the future. What's obvious to you,
Yeah. Fair.
right, is not obvious to me. And maybe things that I see, you don't see because it's not in your circle of concern. I'm sure I know a lot of dumb shit that's going to happen. I predict a lot of stuff that's probably going to happen, but maybe you don't think about it because it's not valuable to think about. I think about weird stuff. Don't ask me to give you an example because I got nothing off the top of my head. Please do not back me into a corner.
This podcast is designed to help you be more successful. Let's talk about what is of value about staying in the present. When should you stay in the present? Why should you stay in the present? What actually would be effective and optimal? Because depression is when you're dwelling on the past, and anxiety is when you're concerned about the future. Listen, some anxiety is actually evolution doing its job. Some anxiety is, hey, by the way, something bad is fucking gonna happen if you don't save money now. Like, I have a trip coming up. I'm leaving on the 26th. Emilia and I are doing a road trip, and I'm going to be back on basically the next full non-trip oriented full Monday is the 6th of October, and there's a bunch of nuance, but I have to squeeze so much work in between now and the 26th. So much. To the point where I had a lot of anxiety on Tuesday. I very rarely have this happen to me. I had crippling. Like, I was sitting in my office like, how the fuck am I going to do this? I don't think I can do this. And I just went to my whiteboard. I drew a target, podcasting, training, and coaching. And I said, Alan, just stay on target. And you don't have to do everything. You just have to do those 3 things. Go. And then I got out of it and I just climbed out of the dark hole, the dark place. And here I am and we're doing it. But I'm that anxiety was basically my system, my central nervous system, my brain saying, Alan, this ain't going to work, man. You can't do 50 episodes between now and the 26th. Like everything you have planned for your future needs to shift a bit. That is an adaptive response. That's a positive, constructive form of anxiety. I think it becomes destructive when you don't leverage that and take action.
You and I had a conversation behind the scenes, and I think it connects to this. And you also want to talk about flow, so make sure you talk about flow. I said to Alan, this is like the first time in probably 8 years where I haven't been anxious about money. And if you were to ask Taryn, she would probably think I'm anxious about money because I am very proactive because I'm thinking about the future. Just because I'm not anxious about money does not mean I should not be thinking about the future. I can't just live in the present. This is
As a matter of fact, the reason you're not anxious about money is because you
100%.
have planned the future.
100%. But I think that's an important thing. If I've learned anything, when you get to a place, when you get to the place where you have accomplished, quote unquote, whatever the goal was that you set, you have to be more disciplined than you had to be in order to get the goal in the first place. And to me, go ahead.
I'd go deeper.
Ooh.
Why does that not land for me?
The great example. Buddy, I got a guy in the gym. Shout out to Seth. Great dude. Friendliest dude in the world.
You listen to the show?
No, but shout out to Seth.
How dare he?
Does he know? He does know. We've had conversations.
Let him know the new tagline.
I will.
Yeah.
He's dieting, and he's been dieting for like 6 months. The end of the month, so the end of the September, he's going to be done dieting.
Nice.
And I said, oh, dude, that's awesome, man. Good for you. Good for you. He said, yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, though. And I said, why? And he said, because last time I did this, I said I was going to bulk back up to whatever it was, 180 pounds, and I just kept going. And I said, well, that's because all the necessity is gone now. You've accomplished the goal, and it's harder for you to maintain the results of the goal than it was to get it because now all of the motivation is gone. You've already got all the feel-good feelings, and you don't have a very specific goal to shoot for. Now Your goal is don't gain too much weight. That's not a good goal.
Yeah, nice.
Because
we should do an episode on that.
For sure. I think that's the way it happens. I think now I wanted to save a certain amount of money or get to a certain level of finance, and now that it's there, I think for a lot of people it's easy to fall off and then just kind of fuck things up.
Well, that's why you immediately need to set a new goal.
Oh, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But
I was saying this.
That requires you not living in the present. You can't just live in that. You literally have to look into the future and say, okay, in the present now, I feel like I'm starting to lose motivation, or I feel like I'm off target or whatever. I need to set something into the future that allows my present. I need a lighthouse. Great.
100%.
You can be on the boat and you're present while you're driving that thing, steering that thing, piloting that thing, captaining that thing.
Nice.
And you're going towards the lighthouse. But somebody had to go put that lighthouse there knowing that eventually you would need that. And I think that's what we have to be for ourselves.
Did I talk to you yesterday on the podcast about my client who said she was kind of struggling, keep it anonymous? She's like, I'm not really feeling it. Hey, I'd like to explore shaking things up. I'm at a point in my journey where I feel like I'm in a little bit of a rut, personally and professionally. And I was like, I got you. I know exactly what to do. I
think you shared that on your story too. I don't know. I think you touched on it. But I don't think you said a lot about it.
Well, what I said to her is the reason you feel like you're in a rut is because you've already achieved pretty much all of your dreams. Not long before this person just achieved a big dream. She got her license to be a CNA. That was like a big goal for years. She was working on that. And now she's in a rut. Of course you are. We got to aim higher here. What are we doing? We got to fucking crank. And again, I know I'm unique in this, but like if you don't have goals, you're going to be bored out of your fucking mind. Goals they make life meaningful if they're not just vanity goals. So we set a bunch of goals: $5 million net worth, travel 2 times a year, 170 pounds, donate $250,000, hike the Grand Canyon. There's meaning. Let's rock and roll. We're here to live. We're not here to hang out. Complete a Tough Mudder. Read 400 interesting books. Well, you're not bored anymore.
It's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books. Let's rock and roll. The point of life is to live, and living is a byproduct of meaningful fucking goals. Now, I know this is about being in the present. This person who I'm talking about now can't just live in the present. Now she has to, okay, well, I got to plan the Grand Canyon. No, you're not allowed to plan. Okay, how do I get there? Nope. No. You can't plan.
You'll get there when it's right.
Advance.
You'll get there.
Yeah,
when
you'll
it's
get
right.
there when it's. We'll cross that Grand Canyon when we come to it. No, at the end of the day, again, I know this is coming off condescending. The truth is, not all those who wander are lost is a J.R.R. Tolkien quote. That quote sucks. Most of the people who wander are lost. You ever hear that shit? Not all those who wander are lost.
It never resonated with me.
Most of the people who are wandering around are actually lost, and then they're romanticizing it. Kev, I will be honest with you. When I was the most unhappy, I was pretending to be the most happy. There was a time in my life where it was my fuck off time. It was like 6 months where I was like, fuck it. I don't care about goals. I don't care about dreams. I'm just going to fucking party. And you would have thought I was the happiest person on earth. Behind the scenes, when I was alone, I was miserable. I was so unhappy. I was depressed. But at the party, of course I'm happy. I'm drunk. We're rocking. We're listening to tunes. We're dancing. Of course it looks awesome. Folks, please, that is not fun. Those people that you see having a fucking blast and romanticizing carefree wandering and carefree lifestyle and YOLO, I'm telling you right now, I've partied with them. I've been one of them. They are miserable behind the scenes. The only thing that makes life meaningful is true love and meaningful progress toward meaningful goals with people you care about, towards something that matters to you, with your passions, in your purpose. And that requires planning for the future, learning from the past, building in the present. None of that has anything to do with sitting here just in the now.
We're going to have to do a part 2, I think, because you want to talk about flow, and I don't think 7 minutes is long enough to effectively go through flow.
I think we could pull it off.
You think?
Give flow a shot.
All right. While you do this, I'm going to open another tab because I am on a podcast right after this, and I just have to make sure they sent over the link.
It's all good.
You do your thing. Okay, so what is the benefit of actually living in the now?
Flow.
Okay. Tell me more.
That was me. Just see if I get a laugh out of you. So, flow is also known as the zone. What else do you call flow? Getting in the zone, the deep now, a genius state. They call it a bunch of stuff.
The zone is probably the best example.
Yeah. Getting in the zone. So you're in the gym and you're feeling it, baby. And you hit that heart rate and you're just, it's flowy. Seriously, it's unbelievable. You just feel like a superhero. It's the best. Nothing hurts. You're just cranking. You're focused as fuck. It's awesome. I love flow. I designed my whole life around flow. The point of flow is being in the deep now. But by the way, no one gets into flow just to get into flow. I do think some people do when they listen to music. I think this is what a concert is for. It's called group flow. So when you go to your favorite concert, it's designed to get you into flow. Or when you're fully immersed in a movie, I love that. When you're in a movie and it's so good that you just don't want anyone, like, everyone stop talking. This is the scene. I love that. So movies, concerts, this podcast, hopefully, gets you into flow. A good book that you can't put down, you're in flow. That's called the deep now, which is basically nothing else matters. You're fully immersed in what you're doing. Painting, whatever you do. Sports, play basketball. I get into flow. I love playing basketball. I challenge myself out in the sun. It's unbelievable. So flow is basically a state of consciousness that provides all of the best neurochemistry. So people who struggle with depression and anxiety, when they go surfing or they go snowboarding or skiing or they go on a trip and they get into flow, they feel amazing. And there's basically all these neurochemicals, serotonin, oxytocin, norepinephrine, all these different neurochemicals that our bodies are always producing. Flow gives you all of them at once. Also, dopamine is the main one. Dopamine is the one that cocaine activates. So when you go to a concert and you're feeling it, You basically get all these chemicals. It's the best feeling in the world. And that's why drugs are so addictive, because basically they do that without having to do anything. And so another good example that I think will relate to everyone, we're watching Chief of War on Apple TV, I want to say. You know what Chief of War is?
No, I never heard it.
It takes place in Hawaii. It's got Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
I haven't seen it, but I saw the cover of him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's actually dope. Slower paced. I like it a lot. Okay, so the season finale is tonight. That show gets you into flow. And it makes you feel really good. Here's the danger zone. We didn't accomplish anything. So ideally, you would use flow to be productive and actually achieve something meaningful. Whereas if you go to a concert to get flow, or you travel to get flow, or you get flow from a Netflix show, or Apple TV in this case, Emilia and I are going to watch that episode. We're going to get into flow. We're going to love it. It's going to be great. We're going to get all the brain chemistry. We're going to share the experience together. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to have delicious food. Date night's going to be great. But when we're done and we get off the couch, we didn't grow. We didn't learn. We didn't do anything. We didn't develop any skills. Yeah. We simulated all of that. So flow makes you 500% more productive, 240% more learning and memory. Creativity and innovation increases by 400%. Meaning and purpose increases by 100%. And if you do it with someone you care about, it increases even more. Which is why it's more meaningful to watch the show with Emilia than it is just by my fucking self. So, and at the end of the day, I want you to talk a little bit about flow, because I designed my entire existence around it.
We're not going to have time. Predicted this. I'm going to get on a podcast. It's like,
You got a minute and 46 seconds.
That's
Give
not
us your
enough.
synopsis.
My synopsis. I told Alan, I said, he said, how do you get into flow? And I said, I don't really know. Exercise. When I go to the gym, I put my headphones in and I put my hood on, and I get super focused and I don't really think about anything else. And the best workouts I have are the ones where I'm not thinking about anything else. The worst workouts are when I'm checking. I don't look at my phone when I'm working out. There's a reason. I want to stay in flow. I would say rapping is another one for me. When I write, I lose track of time completely. That's why I can't do it that often, because it takes a lot of time. We're going to have to do part 2. Yeah, we're going to have to do a part 2. I don't know if I have a very specific answer that I can hammer in 15 seconds.
You do not design your life around flow, or you do?
No, I design my life around...
How many people do you think design their existence around flow?
Around flow? 1 in 100. Less than that. Not many.
Last piece. Kevin and I interviewed someone named Stephen Kotler. He wrote the book, The Art of Impossible. One of my favorite books ever written. This book is
a great book. It's
unbelievable. Book. He talks all about flow triggers and how to get into flow. If you want to feel good, that brain chemistry, like after a great workout called runner's high, getting in the zone, whatever sport you love, what Kevin's talking about, a great gym session, you'll have brain chemicals work for you all day. And if you're not getting into flow often, you're probably not getting the full benefits of a meaningful life neurochemically.
Neurochemically speaking, we're going to do a part 2. We got to do part 2.
All right, man.
We got to do part 2 because I want to be able to talk more about flow, and I want to make sure I can actually. I get anxious when we get close to the time because I have to be on a podcast. I don't like being late. You know how I operate.
So you can't get into flow.
So I can't get into flow when I'm producing this episode live, making sure we get off on the right time. It's very hard for me to get into flow.
What are we going to promote?
We are going to promote the fact that the podcast tagline now is the awareness, habits, and strategies to become the most next level you. And if you want to become the most next level you possible, we have book club and we have a bunch of other stuff. So make sure you check the link in the show notes for that. And as always, if you want to be the most next level you, and that is what you're committed to do, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we will be here every single day to help you do that.
Keep reaching for your full potential and get into flow. Next Level Nation.